want to know why I hate him?
Yeah, I'm still curious to hear it.
Because people like you seem to like him.
Are you out of your mind? Do you know people like me?
No, I like
people like me escape the bullshit of people like you that bought into the games being played against guys like him.
I think you're what makes this country great, and I can't figure out why someone as smart as you.
Do you want me to explain to you why? It's not. But wait a minute. You make it seem like this is a Trump podcast.
No, it's not. But like, I don't understand. Forgive me.
Yeah.
The way I look at him is binary. I can't look at him and see good things.
I can look at Obama and see good things. I can look at Biden and see good things. I can look at Bill Clinton and see good things.
Then you're better than I am.
It's not about being better than you are, buddy. It's not about that. I love America.
In this explosive debate, Patrick Bet-David of the PBD Podcast confronts a CIA shill who openly admits his hatred for Trump and blames it on people like Patrick. What follows is a fiery exchange as Patrick Bet-David skillfully dismantles the baseless accusations and calls out the establishment's attempts to silence independent voices. Patrick remains calm and collected, delivering sharp, reasoned arguments that expose how out of touch his opponent truly is. This debate shows just how far the establishment is willing to go to demonize Trump supporters and those who challenge their authority. If you love intense political debates, you won't want to miss this one.
You want to know why I hate him?
Yeah, I'm still curious to hear it.
Because people like you seem to like him.
Are you out of your mind? Do you know people like me? People like me escape the bullshit of people like you that bought into the games being played against guys like him.
I think you're what makes this country great, and I can't figure out why someone as smart as you.
Do you want me to explain to you why? It's not. But wait a minute. You make it seem like this is a Trump podcast.
No, it's not. But like, I don't understand. Forgive me.
Yeah.
The way I look at him is binary. I can't look at him and see good things.
I can look at Obama and see good things. I can look at Biden and see good things. I can look at Bill Clinton and see good things.
Then you're better than I am.
It's not about being better than you are, buddy. It's not about that. I love America. And I don't look at people from the standpoint. I've sit down with mobsters, gangsters. I've sit down with, communists. I love talking to communists because it's a great conversation for me. I don't sit there and say, I hate this guy. See, the challenge with your side, because you sound like a broken record right now, as if it's CNN or MSNBC. Do you know what happened to their ratings when the world found out they were full of shit with Russia? Go look at their ratings. Go look at their ratings the week after the world found out this entire dossier was funded by a lady named Hillary Clinton. What happened to the ratings afterwards? You know why? Because Americans were sitting there saying, we believed you. Schiff, we believed you guys. Cuomo, we believed you. Lamont, we believed you. Cooper, we believed you, and you fooled us. And now Brian Williams, who's a guy that interviewed you, says what? I'm done with this. I'm worried because of what's going on to America today. And he's stepping away. So for me, when it comes down to guys that come out and say things like that about Trump and Russia, oh my gosh, tell me one president. First of all, let's put the truth out there. Has this been a guy that his entire life has been a master troll and a bully?
Yeah.
Yes, I don't disagree. Has this been a guy that came from the streets of New York where negotiations are all hardcore and you got to go against other guys that are also hardcore because New York's DNA is like you are? This is what I like. Is that how New York is?
Yes.
This is New York's DNA. America's not Matt Zeller.
No.
America's not Chris Christie.
No.
America's not Hillary Clinton nor Trump. America's not Cuomo. America is more Tyler. America is more just a regular person that loves his country, right?
Right.
Patrick Bet-David is absolutely right. Since the events of 2020, the constant stream of lies from woke news outlets has finally woken up the average person. Like Patrick said, people like Joe Rogan, who was once on the fence, and Russell Brand, who leaned far left, are now seeing through the deception. They've realized how much they've been lied to, and their massive audiences of regular, everyday people are waking up too. All these so-called normal people are fed up with the blatant lies from the government, CNN, MSNBC, and even woke YouTubers and shows like The View and Bill Maher. That's why podcasts like Valuetainment and the PBD Podcast are gaining traction. They're opening people's eyes to the truth. The media doesn't even care about hiding their lies anymore. They're so blatant, expecting that we'll figure it out later. But people are waking up to it now. And it's no wonder Trump has such strong support. Even though he's wealthy, Trump resonates with regular people because he acts like a normal guy. That's why so many are standing by him. He's someone they can relate to in a world full of deception.
Okay. And then you come out and you say Russia, 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 Russia. When this guy was president, let me tell you what policies I like. I go policies. If you want to talk emotion, personality, you can hate that guy's personality. You can sit there and say, this guy knows the hell out of me. I know people that hate Obama. Every Obama interview I've ever watched, whether it's with Leno, whether it's with whoever, I've never seen an interview where I didn't like hearing him speak. I would say, I'd love to watch a game with this guy. Doesn't mean I agree with his policies. So the emotions I pull out and I say, okay, let's look at policies. When this guy took office, he was the first guy that was not afraid of facing off China. First guy that said, you want to do this? Tariff. You want to do this? Tariff. You want to do this? Tariff. Look where we are today. These barrels that we were getting from China that was $2,500 a pop, now it's what? Containers. $40,000 a container. You think he would let them charge $40,000 today? Hell to the no. But Biden says what? End of message. End of message. What end of message? You're giving a speech on the guy that passed away. End of message. Trump stood up against China. Trump was willing to sit down with these guys, negotiate. Trump did Palestine and Israel. Like that's ridiculous to be able to do what he did 25 years. Economy was doing good for whites, blacks, Asians, Hispanics, women, everybody. But media hated this guy. Why? Because he called that bullshit. And that's his flaw. His fault was the following. If somebody as an advisor gives him a fault, it's the following. Charles Barkley said this the other day. Kevin Durant asked him, said, how come you're not on Twitter? He says, you know why I'm not on Twitter? He says, why? He says, because I'm old school. If I'm on Twitter and people talk shit to me, I feel like it's my responsibility to respond back. That's Barkley. Guess what? That's Trump. Trump needs to avoid 99% of the shit people say to him, and you just focus on the 1%. He wanted to fight everybody, and he made his life a living hell. That's on him. But that's how he's wired. That comes with the territory. But to say the guy's a Russian asset, Matt, I mean, you can say you disagree with his policies. You can say, Stormy Daniels, McDougal. You can say grab him by this with the Bush story. You can say McCain, which was an absolute, to me, what the hell are you doing going after somebody, POW? This guy served the military. You don't have the right to call out another military person. How come all these generals you don't get along with? What happened with Mattis? I get Milley. I get some of these guys. But what happened with some of these other guys? Of course, all of that stuff, fully agree. I totally get it. But to sit there and just put it all blanket. Hillary Clinton just came out and said the following. She said, I don't know if you guys read this or not. Hillary Clinton warns 2024 presidential election could be the end of democracy. National Review. Hillary Clinton warned that former President Trump is poised to run for election 2024 and said that if he wins, American democracy will suffer irreparable damages. If I were a betting person right now, I'd say Trump's going to run again. I think that would be the end of our democracy. Not to be point about it, but I want people to understand that this could be a make it or break it point. If you or someone of his ilk were once again to be elected president, especially if he had a Congress that would be doing his bidding, you would not recognize our country.
Yeah. And when she says him or someone of his ilk, she really means any Republican candidate. If a Republican wins, it's suddenly the end of democracy. They just keep escalating the fear-mongering. I can only imagine what they'll say next. Let's say Trump wins the next election and their threat to democracy rhetoric doesn't work anymore. What's the next move? Will they claim Vivek Ramaswamy is colluding with aliens and that an alien invasion will take over America if he wins in 2028? It's getting ridiculous. What's really scary is how a former CIA agent, someone you'd think would be immune to brainwashing, can get completely sucked into the same narrative that targets weak-minded individuals. Sure, it's easy to brainwash people who are glued to TikTok and have short attention spans, but a CIA agent buying into this idea that Trump is colluding with foreign countries to overthrow the government and is a threat to democracy? Come on, I don't buy it. This feels like part of a larger misinformation campaign, probably funded by the government. It's pretty obvious, really. There's just no way a former CIA agent is genuinely falling for this narrative. He's likely part of the same disinformation machine that Hillary Clinton, leftists, and Democrats are all pushing, saying Trump's re-election would be the end of the country. Give me a break. If you have a functioning brain, you're not buying into this. The only people who do are either TikTok obsessed or already hate Trump and are looking for confirmation bias. They're just using this nonsense to fit the anti-Trump narrative they've already built in their heads. It's so obvious what's happening here.
For many outside observers, it looks as though Trump is gearing up to launch a campaign for 2024. 90% chance this guy's running. You know it, I know it. He's going to be running. But
I agree with what she said, by the way. I think it is, if he wins, it'll be the end of our democracy. We are not a functioning, by the way, we're not a functioning democracy right now.
No,
people
not.
said if people
on
said
a
if
federal level,
We're not,
people said if Obama gets elected, communism's here.
But we're not a functioning democracy anymore on a federal level. We're not.
Okay.
We absolutely are not.
Unpack that.
Okay, so how to begin? You have one political party, again, that is a cult of personality. Okay, they do whatever Donald Trump wants. There's no party platform anymore, right? There's just whatever Trump wants. And I know that you keep saying he's not a Russian asset, but why did the Republican Party change the platform at the Republican Party convention in 2016 when it came to Ukraine once he took the nomination? Why was it that was changed? Why did he try to pull us out of NATO? I'm sorry, you had everything the one thing that you never said to me that explained his Russian policy.
After all the investigations, show one proof he's a Russian asset instead of just making accusations. Show the proof. For example, if somebody says Biden, daddy, the big guy, $10 million, there is proof.
Okay.
The New York Times story when it was blocked by Twitter, that's proof.
Look at how much money he gets through Deutsche Bank. Who do you think funds Deutsche Bank?
What I'm trying to tell you is show me after the last 3.5 years,
you think
what kind of investigation could they have done on him?
He's such a shitty businessman. He can't even get lended to by anybody else other than the one bank that the Russians specifically fund. I'm sorry. Come on.
Stop it.
It's wild how the left doesn't even bother arguing anymore. Instead of saying, I disagree, they just slap labels on anything they don't like. Oh, that's anti-Semitic, or that's Russia collusion, or that's racist, sexist, anti-this, or anti-that. It's like they don't have to explain themselves anymore. They just use these labels to shut down the conversation. Take the idea of pulling out of NATO, for example. Maybe there's a valid tactical reason for it. If Trump had successfully pulled us out, we wouldn't be draining American tax dollars into Ukraine right now or funneling money to the Middle East for wars that have nothing to do with us. It's not a crazy idea. In fact, it makes sense. But because they don't like it, they slap the Russia collusion label on it. No real argument, no debate, just a label to avoid explaining why they disagree. It's the same old trick. Throw a label on something and you don't have to defend your stance. Call it racist, sexist, or whatever, and suddenly the conversation's over. Let me know in the comments what you think about Patrick Bet-David dismantling this former CIA agent's weak arguments on the PBD podcast. What are your thoughts on the whole PBD versus CIA agent situation?